Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Teddy90. Today we're going to be reacting to Why Planes Don't Fly Over the Pacific Ocean by Brightside. Never watched this video before. I don't think I've seen any of their, I can't say that. I don't know if I've watched any of their videos before. But before we jump into it, like their video, go sub to their video, or sub to their channel, all that other good stuff. They deserve all the love, all the attention, everything else in the world. I don't deserve any of it. I'm just some dude. They're the actual content creators. They deserve all the things. I don't know what to expect from this, but I'm hoping we're going to learn something fun from this. I love learning new things. Of course, yeah. Yeah, let's just jump into it. Where did my mouse go? There was no ad on the beginning of this video, for some reason. So, as usual, if an ad shows up, we'll just let it run.
You know, making all these videos is pretty exhausting work. What I need is a vacation. Somewhere far away, preferably.
Editing is... Editing is incredibly exhausting work. It's not difficult to learn. Editing isn't difficult to learn. It's kind of hard to well, I'm not a master, but I know how to edit. Or just, yeah. But editing is a lot of work. It takes so much. It takes a lot. It's a lot of mental strain because it's just the same repetitive task over and 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 over. It's ridiculous, especially when you have to listen to yourself talk or listen to somebody else talk 10, 20, 30 times more than that, trying to edit the damn thing. I used to try to edit videos on my actual Teddy90 channel when I did gaming. I gave up on that because it was just too much work. And honestly, for the content I was at least producing, which might shine down on me, it didn't get enough views for the effort to be worth it. Editing, for those of you who think making even my YouTube videos are very small tier comparatively to this type of stuff, but anyone who hasn't edited before, don't assume making YouTube videos anywhere, like any type of YouTube videos, is easy. It's hard work. It's mentally exhausting work. It really is.
Exotic and must be exciting. Korea or maybe Japan. Great food, fantastic culture, plenty of ways to embarrass myself by misunderstanding the local customs. What's not to love?
Yep. That's exactly, yeah, traveling. Just always misunderstanding what's going on.
But I noticed something strange while booking my Asian getaway. My plane seems to be making a detour over Alaska. Why is my plane going out of its way to avoid the Pacific Ocean? Is this a mistake? Did I accidentally sign up for the Caribou route? At first, you might think this was a safety issue. The Pacific is the largest and deepest of the world's oceans. If a plane encounters a problem over a seemingly...
Yeah, that's what I would assume it would be. It would either be safety or just not enough places to land. Like, you have Hawaii and a couple of the Pacific Islands, but I would imagine it would be hard to find anywhere to actively land your plane if you needed to refuel.
Endless and bottomless pond of water. The pilots are going to have a rough time finding a safe spot to set
It's either that or it's the storms.
her down. Alaska might not be overpopulated with international airports, but it's a lot better than the middle of the ocean. How's that for a tourism slogan?
Alaska, a lot better than the middle of the ocean.
Alaska. At least it's better than sinking. Okay,
Yeah.
I apologize, Alaska. Guessing that it was a safety precaution wouldn't be entirely wrong. When planning a route, many pilots prefer to maximize the number of airports along their...
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking, yeah. Because in case you need to refuel, in case something just small goes wrong, in case someone dies on the flight, like you want to have somewhere that you can actively, I guess you can't see that. You want to have somewhere that you can actively just make like stops at. Like there's Hawaii, like look at how many stops. There's probably even more stops that they could make if they had to along this path. But if you go out here and then someone dies here, you either have to turn around or try to make it to Hawaii. And then Hawaii, like there's maybe I don't really know much about the Pacific Ocean, but I know there's a couple islands in here that are habited, and I'm not sure about their airport size. But like, it's far away. The Pacific Ocean, even this map doesn't do it justice. The Pacific Ocean is massive, so I'm assuming that's part of the issue.
path.
That's also one of the reasons why Asian countries like China, Korea, Japan didn't really colonize the West Coast. during the age of colonization, or even before that, because the distance was just too vast. It just wasn't feasible. It really just wasn't feasible. There was no point to trying to do it because it was just so far away.
Emergencies are...
Of course, that changed with obviously the Spanish with the Philippines, because the Spanish didn't go around the Horn of Africa to get to the Philippines. The Spanish went through Mexico, or colonized Mexico, and then went through Mexico and California to get to the Philippines. That's how they got to the Philippines. Is there a good... Yeah. Well, the Philippines are down here. But the Spanish colonized all the way up to about here in North America, and they used this as just a natural jumping off point to get to Manila, the Manilian Gallons, which is a famous thing, a famous ship type, which would bring gold and silver from the New World colonies that Spain held, bring them all the way to the Philippines, and then sell them to China to make a great deal of profit. Funnily enough, the silver trade and the gold trade from the New World actually ended up bankrupting the Ming Dynasty because they imported so much of it that Ming China ended up using Spanish silver as their main, or one of their main coin sources. And after mass inflation, because people back then didn't seem to understand inflation, or at least some culture groups didn't seem to understand, or at least no, that's wrong wording. How do I want to say? Some governments didn't seem to understand inflation. Other governments really did understand inflation, but some governments were just like, printing money, it'll never backfire. If you always print money, you could see this with after the Versailles Treaty, Germany, Venezuela, lots of different countries, where when you just print money, or the Ming Chinese, and you just print money, Ming, eventually people stop having faith in the currency. And when they stop having faith in the currency, your entire economic situation just goes down the tubes. So that happened to the Ming Chinese, and led to the ability for the Qing, or the Manchus, the Manchu tribes, which were about here-ish, the Manchu tribes, united to become the Qing dynasty and conquered all of China, which then led to a great deal of cultural oppression from the Manchu peoples down on the normal Han Chinese, which brought about a lot of interesting things. I think the Manchus had this weird thing on long hair, like either you're only allowed to have short hair, or I think it was you had to have that long Qing ponytail. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, the long Qing ponytail. Here, I'll show you. Qing Dynasty hair, male. The Q, worn by Manchu Central, and imposed these things. They were enforced on the local Han Chinese, and if you didn't have one of these, if you were male and you didn't have one of these, you could be executed or incredibly punished and things like that. That was one of the ways that the Manchus kept hold of the Ming Chinese, or the Han Chinese, sorry. That was one of the ways they kept hold of them. I think there were also... Did the Qing introduce foot binding? Qing foot binding? I think that was... Yeah, it was spread by the... There had been attempts to end the practice during the Qing. No, wasn't this... Foot binding developed during the 16th century. Who created it? Foot binding eventually spread to... Okay, no, never mind. It wasn't the Qing. This was just a thing. Okay, never mind. Foot binding was terrible, though. Anyway, let's get back to it. I don't even remember what. Oh yeah, the Pacific Ocean is started to cross. That's where we were. Sorry for the tangent.
Entirely wrong. When planning a route,
I'm not sorry for the tangent.
Many pilots prefer to maximize the number of airports along their path. Emergencies are incredibly rare relative to how many planes take to the skies every day. But I can't think of many things more stressful than losing an engine 30,000 feet over the middle of the Pacific Ocean. That said,
that would be terrible.
It isn't the main reason airlines tend to avoid making a straight shot east to west. Ultimately, it comes down to saving fuel and time.
Yeah, fuel. Fuel would be the issue there.
It's easy to forget that an airline is a business. a business whose profits depend on how quickly and cheaply it can move passengers between destinations. People also prefer to get to their next stop as quickly as possible, so it's a win-win for both airlines and passengers. Long story short, which is not my forte, speed is usually the primary factor in determining a plane's flight path. Excluding special circumstances such as passing through the jet streams or other meteorological concerns, the fastest route is almost always the one closest to a straight line. But wait, just look at that flight path. It's anything but a straight line. Well, yeah, when you look at it on a flat map. But our planet isn't flat now, is it? It can be
True.
confusing since
We're a globe, and most maps do not fully appreciate the size of the globe. Pacific Ocean is massive.
we're used to looking at our world on a two-dimensional plane. Unless you bust out a globe each time you need to check where some city or country is located, you probably look at a world map. So, on a 2D map, making a giant rainbow to avoid the Pacific Ocean looks like a much longer route. But since the Earth is a sphere, more or less, but more on that later,
Yeah, the Earth is more of a, I don't know what the term is. It's a bit misshapen though, isn't it? I think the Earth is slightly bit misshapen. It's not a perfect sphere.
a straight line is going to look very different in three-dimensional spaces. Okay, let's do a little experiment. Got a globe nearby?
Oh, see, I was actually about to go do this. I was actually about to go on Google Maps, do the line tool, and show you this. But it looks like he's going to do this in the middle of the video. Good job. Bright side, that's actually incredibly impressive.
Oh yeah, I just said most of us use Google Maps. Alright, here. I'll show you on mine. I put one end of a string on Los Angeles and the other end on Tokyo.
Ah, he's using an actual globe. I was going to use Google Maps.
When I pull it tight, you'll notice that the string isn't running exactly parallel to the lines of latitude printed on the globe. Instead, it'll bend slightly upwards as it follows the curvature of this mini Earth I got at the bookstore down the road. This effect is even more pronounced
Cat.
in practice because my globe
Cat.
isn't a perfect recreation of the real deal. In fact,
I'm now no longer listening to anything he says. I'm just staring at his cat.
the problem is that it's
That is an adorable cat.
too perfect. You see, unlike a globe, the Earth isn't a perfect sphere. Our planet is slightly bigger around the middle, kind of like me after the holidays. Hey, who wrote that?
Kind of like me all the time.
When looking at pictures taken from outer space, the difference isn't enough to notice. The planet is so big that it's easy to lose track of a few hundred
Earth really isn't even that big. Earth is actually kind of small for a planetoid.
miles here and there. But check it out. If you could take a giant string and measure the Earth's circumference through the poles, you'd need 24,860 miles of string. But if you do the same at the equator, it would jump to 24,900 miles. Why the
Sorry, what
same
was the
at the
difference?
equator? 24,860 miles of string.
40,008.
But if you do the same at the equator, it would jump to 24,900 miles.
Okay.
Why is that, you
slightly
ask?
chunkier.
Well, it's because our
Slightly
planet
chunkier
rotates
on
on
the
its
middle.
axis. Ever spin yourself really fast on the playground merry-go-round when you were a kid?
I do that as an adult on those. I guess I do that on the not the merry-go-round, but I do that in there's this play park that my friends and I like to go to when we're really drunk and or high. Yes, we're adults. Shut up. And this is at like 2 in the morning, so don't worry. And there's like this spinny thing that like you sit in, and then like one of your friends can like just wail on it, and you go spinning. It's great.
Remember feeling like the thing was going to throw you out to the sides? Actually, I remember I was throwing up a lot. Not a good ride for me. Anyway, something similar
Yeah, I can't handle spinny rides. I don't throw up after them usually, but I like doing it while drunk though for some reason.
happens to
Which you would think would make me throw up faster.
the Earth's midsection as it spins. The force causes it
Yeah, look at this. You can see this. The Atlantic isn't actually that wide of a distance. Like it is. It's a big distance, but it isn't that actually that wide of a distance. You feasibly. It's not that bad.
to
And the tide currents, things like that. I don't really know much about the
Bulge
currents,
out.
but I do know that. But you can see this, the Pacific.
Yes, it's spinning
boom. Like that is
as it
that
spins.
is ridiculous.
force
The
causes-
Difference. That is ridiculous. The
Causes
difference.
it to bulge out. Yes, it's spinning
Like it's like 2 times the
fast
size
enough
of
to
the
do
Atlantic.
that. Anybody tuning in from the equator right now, you're currently moving about 1,000 miles per hour. That 40-mile difference in the Earth's width might not seem like very much, but when it comes to the surface area of an entire planet, that little bit of added girth can go a long way. The combination of these two factors, the curvature of the Earth and its extra equatorial width, ooh, I like that, mean that curving toward the poles is a shorter distance than flying, what seems like on a map, straight across. None of this is to say that planes never cross the Pacific Ocean. People have to get to Australia somehow, I guess. I'm not so much into giant insects and spiders, but hey, to each his own. Just kidding, Australia. Anyway, planes will also venture over open water to avoid storms. While aircraft can outclimb some types of severe weather such as hurricanes and tropical storms, seemingly mundane thunderstorms are surprisingly challenging. With clouds reaching altitudes of over 60,000 feet, airplanes are advised to steer around instead of into or over them. It's almost unheard of for modern aircraft to be brought down by severe weather. But bad enough turbulence can cause injuries to passengers and crew if they, and all the stuff they've packed with them, get tossed around the cabin.
Yeah.
The takeaway here is keep your seatbelts fastened at all times.
No, just want to put the
Another reason
yeah.
planes will sometimes
I don't fly much
brave an
because I'm poor.
oceanic voyage is to take advantage of the smoother ride. Even in clear weather, there's much less turbulence over water than over land. This is because the primary source of turbulence is hot air rising up from the ground. Hey, there's a lot of hot air rising up from this microphone. Water distributes heat a lot better than soil, so flights over the ocean are often much smoother. The other primary consideration for determining flight paths are air currents, namely the jet streams. These high-altitude air currents exist near the top of the troposphere. That's the lowest layer of the Earth's atmosphere, and the one where most weather occurs. The border between the troposphere and the next layer up, the stratosphere, is known as the tropopause. Its altitude fluctuates between 4 and 12 miles above the Earth's surface. This fluctuation results in rapid shifts in air temperature and pressure, which creates a wind tunnel that can reach speeds of over 200 miles per hour. These extreme speeds are most common in winter, when the temperature difference is greatest, but regular wind speeds of 80 to 140 miles per hour are nothing to scoff at. So,
I have to say, I am incredibly impressed by this guy. This guy has, or this team, I'm not sure if it's one man or a team, but they are incredibly impressive. The amount of information they give, the animation, they are very skilled at what they do. I'm kind of in awe with how much information they actually give. Like there are some things. It was about back here, I think, talking about the dangers of crossing water and how like hot air rises, which causes storms and things like that. And going around land is a lot easier. Like things I would have mentioned if I was actually making this video, which I wouldn't because it's way too much effort. But like, I'm actually impressed. I've watched a lot of intellectual YouTubers before, and there's not an insignificant amount of them that don't go into as much detail as this guy does, or these guys do. I'm actually blown away.
keep your scoffing to yourself. There are 4 main jet streams, 2 in each hemisphere, and thanks to the Earth's rotation, they mostly flow west to east. The 2 most important for air travel are the polar jet stream, which forms near the Arctic Circle, and the subtropical jet stream near the equator. Both are thousands of miles long despite being only a few miles wide. Flying with a jet stream can shave several hours off of a trip, but flying into it can
Yeah, flying into the jet stream would obviously slow you
slow
down.
the plane down considerably. It's also worth noting the risks associated with jet streams. The biggest hazard is a kind of turbulence known as clear air turbulence, which
I've never heard of the turbulence
occurs
before.
along the edges of the streams. This kind of turbulence is nearly impossible to predict and far more intense than the usual variety. Turbulence-related accidents are rare, but they are possible. One particular serious incident happened in 1997 when a plane flying from Tokyo to Honolulu suddenly dropped after hitting a patch of clear air turbulence. The pilots were able to regain control, but many passengers had been thrown from their seats really hard by the sudden descent.
Yeah.
With that danger in mind, flight plans need to be carefully calculated to take advantage of the jet streams without putting the plane at risk.
You know, I actually wanted to be an air traffic controller when I was younger. I never went into that profession, but it's always something I wanted to be.
Repeat after me. Keep your seatbelts on at all times while flying. Understanding why planes take the routes they do often comes down to facts that we don't usually think about in everyday life. The jet stream mostly affects things tens of thousands of feet in the air, and the curvature of the Earth doesn't really matter unless you're traveling hundreds of miles per hour over vast distances. I don't know about you, but my car can't quite manage either of those things.
Yeah, my little Toyota Corolla could not manage any of those.
At least not yet. I have a few ideas, but we'll save that for a video titled 7 Things You Shouldn't Strap Rockets To.
His evil half.
Hey, if you learned something new today, then give this video a like and share it with a friend. And here are some other cool videos I think you'll enjoy. Just click to the left.
That was great. That was actually some high quality content right there. High quality learning right there. Go like their video. Go sub to them. Do everything for this guy. I don't know if it's one guy or a bunch of people, but they deserve all the love in the world. That was a great video. I learned a great deal from that. I'm actually blown away by this. I'm actively blown away by this. Round of applause. Round of actual impressed applause. If you liked my commentary on things, as I'm still trying to respond to this, if you like my commentary on things, give me a like, give me a sub, and go join my Discord and go join my Twitch. I don't know. This started as a commentary and turned into a reaction by the end because I didn't have much to add. He was adding everything himself. I'm impressed. I'm actually very much impressed. I'm always impressed by people who are better at being the teacher than the learner. I'm not a good teacher by nature. I'm not that good of a teacher. I don't have the patience to do this, to produce this type of content. But I've always loved learning, and this really taught me some things. Anyway, if you liked my reaction, yeah, I've already said that. Love, butts, and happiness, and all that other good stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. If you didn't like what you saw here, and for the people who dislike my videos, for the people who didn't like what you saw here, please leave a comment down below and say why you didn't like it. I would rather a comment describing why you didn't like something than, obviously, just a dislike. But if it's just a dislike, then it's just a dislike. I'll see you in the next one, lads. Butts and happiness, all that other good stuff, and bye-bye.